Here's what I'm going to do today with you guys. I'm going to give you a piece of information with a diagram. I am looking for two things. Can you mark the diagram appropriately based on what's given? And can you tell me a conclusion based on what's given? All right. So let's take a look at this first one. We'll do it together. I won't call on anybody yet. Line segment AB, the symbol, perpendicular to line segment BC. Perfect. So again, just to remind us that that means perpendicular. Here's what I would like for you. First thing, anything we do today, mark your diagram. Can you put anything on your diagram that shows me that AB and BC are perpendicular? Anything on that diagram that you can put right now? I hope you can, based on Unit 1. You know what perpendicular lines do. There's something you can put on my triangle right there that says, hey, those lines are perpendicular. Let's get going here. Go ahead, Ella. Where? At B. I'm going to force you guys to use your vocabulary here. Okay? So we're going to put a right angle symbol at angle B. What's that angle symbol tell me? It is how many degrees? 90 degrees. So that's the first thing I want you to try to do today is mark your diagram. Second thing I want you to do, and this is going to get you prepped for the proofs we're going to do a couple days from now. I want you to organize your thoughts into two columns. First column is a statements column. Second column is what I'm going to call the reasons column. And you don't have to do it as fancy as I do. I know that's pretty good, right? How I incorporated the R with the line separating them and the S's together. You can be impressed later. Here's what you're going to do here. What you marked, tell me what you marked in your diagram in your statements. What did Ella just tell us to mark? Angle B is a right angle. So I'm going to start numbering these because I may have more than one statement to tell you. So whatever you marked in your diagram, write it mathematically here in your statements. So I'm going to say that angle B is a what did you guys mark it as? 90. Angle B is a right angle. That's exactly what I just marked in the diagram. Here's where we're going to have the toughest part. And by the end of this unit, we'll be great at it. Why is it a right angle? That's the biggest thing right now is great. You can mark it, you can tell me, but can you back yourself up? That's what I need here. That's what this whole unit is about. Great that you know it, that's a right angle. Why is it a right angle? Use some vocabulary now. Here we go, Juliana. Why is it a right angle? And what do you know about perpendicular lines? Here we go. So our reason, and we're going to keep using this reason all year long. Perpendicular, and you can use the symbol now. Perpendicular lines form what? Right angles. So you're going to tell me what you marked and why is it true. All right. Anything else really you can tell me from the diagram? Are these two congruent? No. And I'm making a huge point right here. If it's not given, don't assume based on the diagram. Oh, they look equal to each other. Baloney. All right, baloney. Unless you're told that they're congruent, nothing. Your reason should never be because it looks like it. Never. Okay, never. Everybody good? Questions? I am going to add in one other thing here. Angle B equals how many degrees? 90 degrees. How do you know that? Definition of a right angle. Yep. So I'm going to write DEF, everybody, definition. Everyone all right with that? Definition of a right angle. I'm going to try to force you guys to write as much as possible and why today. We're only going to do a couple of these, then you're on your own. Questions here? Because now I'm going to start calling on you. We good? Mark your diagram based on the given. Mark your diagram based on the given. Tell me some statements and why. Here we go. Over to you now. BD is the bisector of angle ABC. Start by marking something on your diagram right now. Based on that given fact, mark something on your diagram, please. Talk to me now. Using your vocabulary, what did you just mark on your diagram? Who's got 7? 7? Evan, what did you mark on your diagram?
That angle ABD and angle CBD are congruent.
Hopefully he put those 2 arc marks just like that. Perfect. That's exactly what I was looking for here. Now translate that to statement number 1. I'm going to write down exactly what he said, but I'm going to use symbols now. Our mathematical symbols we talked about in Unit 1. I'm going to say angle ABD. We all remember the congruent symbol, hopefully, from Unit 1. We used it a ton. Congruent to angle DBC. And here's the toughest part. Why are those 2 congruent? What made Evan mark those 2 on his diagram? All right, what made you mark him on the diagram? 5. Who's got 5? Go ahead, Madeline. Because what do you know? Bisector does what? Cuts in an angle into 2 congruent angles. So what I'm just going to say is, well, that's the definition of a... What word up there told you it was going to cut it in half? Bisector. Perfect. Definition of a bisector. Bless you. Bless you. Is there anything else you want to write up here? Because I'll hear others. There are a couple other things we could write up here, but that by far was definitely the most important thing I wanted you to get out of it. Go ahead, Joanne. What else? Go ahead. Shoot. I like it. Let's put it down. Angle ABD equals 1/2 of angle ABC. Yep. I could also, instead of ABD, what else could I put in there? Instead of ABD? CBD. Yep. What would be a good reason there? Go ahead, Joanne. Go ahead and share your statement here. Probably, again, definition of a bisector. Yep, cuts it in half. Perfect. Perfect. How you guys doing? All right? Any issues so far? Okay, let's go to the next one here. What am I missing from number 3 that I had the last 2 problems? Oh, I'm so sorry, honors kids. No diagram. Looks like we're going to have to make our own, huh? Okay, that's all right. Given M is the midpoint of AB, line segment AB. So go ahead, line segment AB. Put M on there. Make your own markings. Make your own markings right now. What markings did you just put on your diagram here? What markings? Anybody see that? Kid just walked in, wrong room. That's embarrassing. If he stayed in here any longer, I would have just roasted him. Who's got, whoa, 15. Who's got 15? 15. Here we go, Jack. What do we got? What markings did you put on your line segment? Where? Line segment AM. Everyone okay with those markings? Put it in your statements now. Put it in your statements. So AM congruent to MB. Nice job. What would be a good reason here? How did he know to put those congruent marks on? What would be a good reason here? 17. Who's got 17? Definition of a midpoint. You guys are catching on. Perfect. Let's write something else. Anything else we want to write that you can tell? Could be anything here. Ooh. Let's go, Andrew. What do you got? Yep. Here's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to say AM equals MB equals 1/2 of what, Andrew? AB. Yep. I'll put them all in there. Why not? How'd you know that?
Because the definition of a midpoint, well, yeah, because M is the midpoint, so that would split AB up.
Perfect. How you guys feeling about this? Do you see how Unit 1 is important now? And that's the way this whole, I love teaching this course because once you're done with Unit 1, you don't forget about it until the Regents exam and review for it. It just keeps building and building and building throughout the year. And I think we got, what, one more? Oh, boy, there he is. Anybody? You guys are awful as far as winning. Do you want me to do it now or wait to crush your dreams? Now? And I think we're at the point in the year where I like some of you, not all of you, but that you can go ahead and guess the next slide. And if you guess the next slide, no homework as well. You've seen a bunch of slides here, a lot of different slides over the last 2 weeks. Let's use our vocabulary from Unit 1. What can you mark on your diagram at least? There's a lot we can mark here. Frank, one thing.
Angle RSI.
Hold on. RSI. Got it. Yep.
And angle WSE are vertical.
So, okay. They're congruent. All right. Before I go, statements, reasons. Anybody want to tell me anything else here? Because there's more I can mark here. More I can mark. Go ahead, Katie. WSI and I didn't hear the other part. Yep. So what should I put? What type of marking should I put here now? 2 of them. Good, good. Everyone see that? We're all okay. Okay, let's put in our statements now. Because there's more I want, though. More I want than the vertical angles. Okay, so let me just write what those 2 guys just gave me. So angle WSE is congruent to ISR, angle ISR. And I'm not going to do a separate statement because it's going to have the same reason. I'm just going to put it all in statement 1, that the other pair, angle WSI, is congruent to angle ESR. All right, turning it back over to you guys. How do I know that those pairs of angles are congruent? Something we talked about. Frank already said it if you were listening. Why those angles are congruent. What do you got for me? 14. That's the theorem I gave you. And that's exactly what I want to put in here. Vertical angles. Oh, let's stop right here. One huge pet peeve when I do this unit. Ready? Everyone see the spelling of vertical. It is not C-L-E. It's not like barnacle. It's vertical. Have some self-respect. Don't be an embarrassment to the math community, please. All right? Spell it correctly. C-A-L, not C-L-E. All right? Vertical angles are congruent. Perfect. More. I need more. Maybe you can't mark it on your diagram, but you can tell me something else. Whoa, look at all these here. Look at all of them. James, what do you got for me? Be there. Perfect. There we go. And you guys could have told me a bunch of pair of angles. I'll just take his right now. Take a look at these 2 right here. He is saying those two angles, these two right here, are supplementary. You could have gave me those two. You could have gave me those two. Those two, it doesn't matter. I'll just keep those, though. That's what James gave me, all right? Everyone agree? Because I'm going to ask you why in a second. Here we go. So angle WSE and angle WSI are supplementary. There is no I in supplementary. There is no I in supplementary. Why are they supplementary? Why? Something we talked about. It was actually a theorem I had given you guys in last unit. Whoa, number 5. Why are those two angles supplementary? They're what? Everyone here? What term one more time, Alan? Linear pairs. So we're going to say linear pairs. And again, this is the exact theorem I gave you last unit. Linear pairs are supplementary. And I could write all the linear pairs up there if I wanted to. Okay? But there's no need to, we'll just do the one pair. Okay? Questions from you guys? Anything else you want? Because that's the two I definitely wanted to get out of here. Anything from you guys? Questions? Okay, here's what you're going to do right now. You can move around if you want, work with other people. You're going to do some of these on your own, and I'm going to walk around making sure you got at least the main parts put in that I'm looking for. Okay? Mark your diagram if you can. Write statements and reasons, as many as you can get to. Raise your hand if you're unsure, should I write this down or not? Is this a good reason or not? Raise your hand, I'll come on over and check it. All right, go ahead, get going. You probably would be able to finish this hopefully by the end of the class.